Hello team, I just want to get into this video and I'm talking about my fitness journey. So when it came to my fitness journey, I had someone that kept me accountable. I wasn't doing it myself, but also I actually believed in myself. And I made sure that I focused on my daily steps. My protein was high because my protein, it was relatively low. But the reason why my protein is really high is so that I have less cravings, I'm full for longer throughout the day. But also, because you have less cravings, you decide to work on yourself more because you have more energy. You're not just eating any types of food. Because when you're snacking, you know you do it and then you keep doing it over and over again. It's something that I had to realize, but I also didn't like it at first because someone else is calling me out on my bad habits. It's a huge wake-up call if you want to see a huge transformation. Because the thing is, someone else that's already done it, you're more likely to do it yourself. And I'm going to say this because this is really week 8 of my fitness journey, of having a fitness coach. And the whole process, it was normally for 3 months. Because during those 3 months, I could have just chosen to sit around, not go to the gym. Because someone else is doing it for me, I don't have to think about it. Even though I have someone else that's doing it for me, I'm thinking about my sleep, my diet, my fitness routine by going to the gym consistently, helping me with my training as well. But the reason why I want to do it myself is because even though the program is like 3 months, I don't know if I told you that, I'm trying to think of ways of how I can do this beyond the summer. Because beyond the summer, I want it to be that I look good and I'm mostly maintaining of what it is that I'm doing, what it is that I'm eating. And if I see other people not doing it, I can then help other people out. So that's why when you do good habits, you inspire other people, you can correct people. And when you're in the gym, let's say for example, you're in the gym and you know how to do an exercise. Are you going to watch someone else not do the exercise correctly, or are you going to help them? And you need to have that natural instinct where you can protect yourself. You're doing this to get more muscles. You're doing this so that you can protect other people, so that other people can rely on you. You have to understand that when it comes to fitness, it helps you to move around. It helps you do things that you didn't think you could do. And at first I couldn't really do pull-ups, but it took me like 3 to 5 months to actually do that because I kept trying consistently. When my waist got smaller and I kept training in the gym, it really helped me to do my pull-ups because when I actually pull myself up, I felt lighter, I felt stronger. And there's a huge difference between eating anything versus a diet which is recommended, which is high in protein. When you track your meals, it becomes a habit, you track your steps, and also you track what it is that you're doing throughout the day. When it comes to a fitness routine, it's based on what you do each day. It's not what someone else does. So that's why when you have a schedule in place based on what you can do, it's very important that you stick to it. You want to focus on yourself and look for ways of how you can improve. You may be like me where you don't like people telling you that you have bad habits. You may be busy. You might procrastinate at times. The whole point of me doing this video is so that I can inspire you, because I've noticed a huge difference in my energy levels. I'm walking confidently. I'm talking more confidently. And I'm putting myself in environments where other people are at the gym. My fitness coach, he said that this is testosterone, where you're looking at other people in the gym, but you're more motivated rather than intimidated. But when you're all in the gym, it's because you're focused on yourself, you're waking up early, it could be the last thing that you're doing throughout the day. You don't want it to be that you're embarrassed, you don't want to tell people about what's wrong, you don't want to do anything because you feel like it's too late to make a change. But then also, you don't want it to be that you're ashamed. You don't want it to be that you can't defend yourself when necessary. And also, when it comes to fitness, it's so that you can be proud of yourself, keep promises that you make to yourself, and to help other people where your strengths are. I wanted to say, in terms of fitness, everyone has strengths and everyone has weaknesses. For example, my strengths in the gym is focusing on incline dumbbell press, where you're laying on the bench, but then I'm focused on lifting the weights up so that it can work on my chest. Another exercise which I'm really good at is the treadmill. And by walking on the treadmill, it helps me to at least track my steps. I can watch videos on my phone to distract myself while doing the treadmill. And even, that's bad timing. And I was going to say, so you know when I'm on the treadmill, sometimes I'm just looking at my phone, I'll be scrolling. But when I'm on the treadmill, it's because I'm distracting my mind. I'm not thinking about how long it takes me to actually do the exercise. And the more that I do it, I'm just used to it. So that's really my strengths, the treadmill and the incline dumbbell press. But my weaknesses is like RDLs, because RDLs, they stand for Romanian deadlifts. I've never really liked deadlifts, but the only reason why I haven't is because it's very awkward. Sometimes you have to make sure your back is straight. You have to basically shoot your bum out for like technique. Don't come for me in the comments, but it's part of the gym. So yeah, it's gonna help you out. So basically you're shooting your bum out, you're looking forward, your back is straight, and then you make sure that your knees are not bent at all. Okay, how do I say this? Afterwards, you'll just lift the weight up without bending your knees, and then you just do it over and over again. I don't like RDLs and I don't like tricep exercises. And the reason why I don't like it, and it's a weakness of mine, because I don't practice it enough. In terms of my fitness routine currently, I'm focused on tricep pull downs, where my elbows are locked and I'm pulling the weight down. But also another tricep exercise which I'm doing is tricep extensions, where my left leg is forward, but also my right leg is forward. And by doing that, it's because my back is straight, my elbows are locked, but instead of pulling the weight down, I'm pulling it straight, like forwards. Another thing that I'm going to say in terms of my fitness, you may not even think about this when it comes to fitness. You know when I got recommended to drink 2 litres of water, that is very good for you, because when you drink 2 litres of water, your body is hydrated. So when you're drinking water, you know it's good for you. And your body is made up of 70% of water. But also when you're drinking 2 litres of water, you're not drinking any other drink. And that's what I wanted to say, because it helps with your performance, it helps with your sleep. And also because I've been busy, I've been trying to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So for example, you can do this routine where you're in bed by 10 p.m. and you wake up at 6 a.m. Some of you may be getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep, but when you get 8 hours of sleep, it's very different. And it doesn't mean sleep in, but just get your sleep. You know, for example, when it comes to fitness, when it comes to compound lifts, it works out your whole body versus individual workouts. And let me just explain, because when it comes to compound workouts, for example, lateral raises, seated shoulder press, and when you're doing those exercises, the reason why I'm saying compound is because even though they're working on shoulders, they work on chest. I'm saying this because it works out other muscle groups within your body. And by doing this, you don't always have to lift the heaviest weight, but you just need to be doing it consistently. You're progressively overloading. For example, if you can lift 10 kilograms, you can progressively overload to 12 kilograms and then 14, depending on how fast you can progress. Even if you're doing less reps, but you're increasing the intensity of the weight, that is much better than doing more reps, but then you're not really working out your muscles enough. For example, when it comes to Bulgarian split squats, you're doing a squat, but you're doing it on each leg, and that's an individual workout. You may have a stronger foot, so that's why it's easier on one foot compared to the other. And the last thing that I'm going to say, because I could be here for a long time, but I'm mindful of time, I'm mindful of people's attention, and I'm mindful of really my intention of this video. The last thing that I'm going to say is about changing your meals. And this one was a huge thing for me, because I'm even doing this right now. It's the focus on meals that you can cook rather than pre-cook. And the only reason why I have pre-cooked meals is because it saves me time. I don't have to think about the calories. I don't have to think about portion sizes. But that's why when it comes to really pre-cooked meals, it's very simple, it's straightforward. And if you stick to it, you don't have to overcomplicate it. It's just meals that you can enjoy, meals that you can have every single day. But when it comes to meals that you actually have to cook, this is something that I'm still struggling with. So that's why today and yesterday I was focused on having wraps, but then also I have eggs, and I have 5 to 6 eggs on some days where it's like 42 grams of protein, so that my protein is high, so that I reach a protein goal. For example, like a protein goal of like 150 or like 140, because it gradually increased the more that I became more consistent. And I was going to say, when it comes to really meals, so for example, these meals, it can be up to you, it can be rice, it can be potatoes, but it just has to be something that isn't too carb heavy, because when something is too carb heavy, it makes you tired. But then you need something that's high in protein so that you're not snacking. Because even me, I don't really have cravings, but the only craving that I have is to look good for the summer. And for the winter, I can maintain, I can even like skip out on the diet if I want to a bit. But because I'm so disciplined, I can go back into it if I need to. And because I've seen that I've done it once, I can do it again. But you want to focus on this during the summer. But in the winter, you don't want to overdo it, where you're like breaking your diet every single day. Otherwise, you're more likely to lose your progress. The last thing that I'm going to say is that my diet, it consists of whole foods. And because my diet, it consists of whole foods, it makes me full for longer. I consume less calories, but I have more food. But then also, I've lost the most weight because I'm in the gym, I'm doing my 10K steps, and my diet is whole foods. It's not just snacks that you get from anywhere. So that's all I got to say. Make sure that your steps is at least 10K per day as a minimum.